Mira donde tenté, mientras en Latam tenemos la conspiración del ICD no existe, los chinos tienen sus propias conspiraciones. A ver, eso me interesa.
The wait is over, my comrades.
Pero... ¿todavía no compras tus juegos en Instant Gaming? Ya te dejo yo un enlace en la descripción, anda. 70% de descuento, ¿a qué estás esperando? Además, usando el enlace también me estás apoyando a mí. Subtítulos, traduce automáticamente al español de España.
Right now, there is this absolutely crazy conspiracy theory going on in China.
Teoría de conspiración, cuidado,
And it went super viral. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone keep asking me about it because, well, I'm Chinese. And the theory is very simple. What if Shimenawa is actually for Yae Miko and retracing Bolai is actually for Yomiya? Wait, how does that make any sense, you might ask? Well, let me slowly explain.
Shimenawa para Yae y retroceso para Yoimiya.
Actually already went over all of these over on my Twitch just yesterday. However, I figured I'll make a video for the rest of the audience on my YouTube as well. Something important to note is that in this video, I'll be paraphrasing the conspiracy theory over in
Va a
English.
explicar
I'm not going to be doing like a
la
one-to-one
teoría conspiranoica. No es opinión, básicamente es la teoría conspiranoica que hay por aquí.
In China is that Yae Miko have a really bad reception.
Yaya amigo. Quiere ser mi Yaya amigo. Es un amigo viejo, básicamente, un Yaya amigo. Cojones. Tiene muy mala recepción. Hay un vídeo.
Currently the one I'm playing that showcases 4-player team with Yae Miko versus without using Yae Miko. So you use the exact same team, but you just don't do anything with your Yae Miko. So you're comparing a 3-people team against a 4-people team. And they actually show that, well, a 3-people team actually does better.
Voy a pasar de keeper skip Yae Miko, bastante skipeable, a los jugadores en China prueban a usar un equipo de 4 con Yae Miko y el mismo equipo pero con 3 quitando a Yae Miko y va mejor con 3.
We're talking about a Yae Miko with 78 critical rate and 250 crit damage.
Y vaya Yae
Sounds like a
Miko.
level 1 Yae Miko. This is with the signature 5-star weapon as well, which you can see. And so Yae Miko have, let me show the weapon right here. So Yae Miko have really bad reputation on China.
Tiene muy mala reputación en China.
With that being said, again, the theory is that the Shimenawa set is actually made for Yae Miko, and Yae Miko is supposed to be a on-field character that end up getting
Que el set
scrapped.
de Shimenawa
And
está hecho
therefore,
para
her kit
Yae
is
Miko.
unfinished, and that's why she kind of sucks. And again, in China, the reputation for Yae Miko is that she sucks really bad. Likewise, for Yomiya,
entiendo,
her
tío.
artifact set is actually going to be the retracing Bolite. That was the intended artifact set for her. I don't actually think I have any on me right now. And she was also a scrapped character that ended up changing, and it's kind of why her kit have some problem. The start of the theory say that it is actually very common
Vale,
for Mihoyo
el tema
to
es
scrap.
El tema es que lo que argumentan, y esto puede tener sentido, es que cambiaron tanto a Yae Miko que el set estaba pensado para ella, pero la cambiaron tanto que ahora obviamente el set de Shimenawa para Yae Miko no.
Or repurpose characters or weapon to push for release.
Es una teoría de lo que
This
pudo
goes all the way
ser.
back to Kazuha and Freedom Sworn potential. You notice that Freedom Sworn does not match Kazuha aesthetically speaking.
Vale.
And usually character signature weapon is supposed to have
Dice
some
que la espada
relationship
que no encaja con
with the
Kazuha.
characters. Example, Staff of Homer with Hutao, Engulfing Lightning with Raiden. You can see that these weapons does kind of match the character.
estas se encajan.
Design.
La
In this
Homa
case,
con Hutao y
Freedom
la
Sworn
Engulfing
doesn't
con
really
Raiden.
match Kazuha design, so it was kind of weird. On top of that, you actually notice that in comparison, Freedom Sword match Jin design dramatically better than Kazuha. And
Encaja mejor con
Freedom
Jin.
Sword is again a weapon that designed around Freedom, which is the city of Mondstadt. And this you can observe
Vale,
with the other
encaja con la temática de
Lilith
Mondstadt
weapon
también.
as well, where LG is for Venti, who is another character from Mondstadt. Song of Broken
La
Pine
elegía
is
es
for
para
Eula,
Venti,
another
tal.
character from Mondstadt.
Song of Broken Pine
You can
para Eula,
actually
también es de
see
Mondstadt.
that in terms of
Sí.
design, Freedom Sword match Jean much better, especially with her summer skin, which happened to came out in the exact same patch.
Vale, que la
Both
Freedom
of these
encaja
things
con
came out
Jin
during the
y encaja
1.6
mejor con la
patch,
skin
which
que
is
salió en el
the
mismo
Golden
parche.
Apple arc, and you can see that even during the original teaser video, the Jean here is actually holding a Freedom
Y que la Jin del trailer usaba la Freedom
is
Sword.
that
Hostia.
Mihoyo couldn't get
Guay.
a weapon for Kazuha in time, so they simply switched it to
Que puede ser una nueva espada para
Kazuha's
Kazuha, dice aquí,
signature
vale.
weapon instead.
No sé qué tiene que ver esto con lo de
Because
tal, pero
it's
bueno.
much easier to just change some number on your weapon than trying to design an entire weapon or trying to redesign your weapon, especially with the lore and the story behind it. If you want to switch this weapon for another character, just change the stat from energy recharge to like elemental mastery, change this passive, and you're good to go. Another example is actually around Amos bow and Fischl.
Vale.
In one of the very early Genshin video, you can actually see Fischl holding a purple Amos bow. In fact, even today in the game itself, when you ascend Amos bow, it actually turned from
Amos
blue
bow.
to purple. The reason of that is because Amos bow was designed originally as a Fischl signature weapon.
Ahora
However,
Amos fue
they
diseñado para
couldn't really do
Fischl.
it, and therefore they end up just scrapping it and changing it to be a Ganyu weapon.
Que al
Once
final
again,
cambió
without
para
changing
Ganyu.
the bow aesthetic, the story
Para
behind the bow
Gandhi.
or anything like that.
Joder, el traductor.
Why? Because changing the stats on the weapon is dramatically easier than changing
Amos
anything
bow.
else. Even today, with Kokomi's signature weapon, the donut, have you ever wondered why does Kokomi care about donut? Maybe because that is not actually her signature weapon. Maybe her weapon is the one in the current event, which is whatever this thing is. You can see that the current event weapon actually matched
Ya, pero ahora
Kokomi
quién le
much
pone
better
eso.
in terms of aesthetically. You see the white, you see the purple, you see the blue, and most importantly, you see the ocean heel clamp in the middle. Maybe this weapon was originally designed for Kokomi, but they end up just changing it, scrapping it, and say, hey, here is the Yae Miko weapon instead. So that's one of the reasons why this weapon doesn't work so well with Yae Miko, because it was never intended to be a Yae Miko weapon. Anyway, moving on to the actual topic, which is...
Es que la verdad, hay montado un lío de la leche con el catalizador ese. O sea, el catalizador ese está muy mal pensado en diseño y en lo que hace y en todo,
namely Zhongli. And this is actually a trend with the rest of the Liu character, such as Hu Tao, Xiao, or Ganyu. With Hu Tao, Xiao, and Ganyu being called the Liu trio, you will notice that these three characters are very vulnerable to interruption and are often paired with Zhongli when they first came out. And likewise, Yoimiya is a character that is very vulnerable and is actually really dependent on Zhongli. This makes the Yuri believe
Estaban de
that
personajes
Yoimiya
vulnerables a
was
interrupción y
originally
pues se juega con
meant to be
Zhongli.
a Liu character released along the other, and the retracing bow-like artifact, which is originally in the game, is actually designed for Yoimiya, which is the reason why you have this 2-piece set and 4-piece set passive, because you can see this actually does work really well with Yoimiya, with how dependent she is
Vale,
on shield.
ahora de que el set puede estar pensado para Yoimiya de primer lugar ya.
Most importantly is that usually
Me flipa un poco.
characters and artifact actually also have a relationship when it comes to their design, especially with the more recent artifact. Ocean Hill Climb, Kokomi's artifact, and you
Vale, por
notice that
diseño,
aesthetically
dice.
looking, this look like it have a lot of relationship
John
with
Lee.
Kokomi. Here is the Puro and the Clam. Here is the, I don't know, more Puro or something like that. Huts of Upland Dream, geo-looking things matching for Ito, right? Emblem Certificate,
Vale.
this is obviously for Samurai or
Raiden.
Shogun, which is Raiden Shogun, and against purple theme. Pale Flame for Eula, a blue theme looking thing with a mask denoting the vengeance for Eula. You can see that most of these artifacts, especially the artifact designed for a character, actually match them aesthetically.
Vale, está dando
What
eso
about
de que encaja
retracing
estéticamente
bow-like?
sin
You
más.
can actually see that in the design, you can see the ropes for Yoimiya being present on a lot of these.
Ah, verdad que
the
puede encajar,
on Yoimiya back, the ropes right here, and
Mucho lacito,
maybe there's not really ropes here. But more importantly, you can see that the color scheme, orange, denote Yoimiya, and all of these firework looking thing also call for Yoimiya.
Ya, es verdad,
In fact, if you dive deeper into the lore of these artifacts, which I was told by my stream,
Verás,
you can actually
un momento de
see
Rexy.
keywords such as firework being presented in these artifacts.
Sí, ponía ahí
moving on to
fuegos
the end,
artificiales.
you can see
Mira, mira.
firework,
Pero es el mejor
summer
lugar para ver los
festival.
fuegos
These are
artificiales.
all things that connect the artifacts
Todo
set
Rexy,
to
prepárate,
Yoimiya
te quito el
on
puesto.
top of just the
Te
artifact
quito el
set
puesto con el
bonuses.
meta.
Likewise, moving on to the Shimenawa set, you can actually see that this artifact set greatly reassembled Kitsune from Japan, which is a Japanese fox. This is often used in Shrine Maiden, which is what Yae Miko is.
Tendré enfocado el lore,
Into the
sí, tío.
story, you can actually see keyword like Miko,
Da
Grand
igual
Shrine,
esto.
or like moving on to the goblet, referencing to Lady Kitsune here. And again, the design here just matched a Shrine Maiden much better, especially with the design being reassembled to a Japanese Kitsune.
Yo que el set de Shimenawa estéticamente estaba pensado para Yae, no lo dudo.
Free crafter that 4-piece Shimenawa set is really terrible on Yomiya. So pretty much nobody really used the 4-piece Shimenawa set on Yomiya. But what if this Shimenawa set was never designed for Yomiya? I mean, it doesn't even match her gameplay styles. Taking a look at how her passive work, how her elemental burst work, or even how her constellation work, it's clear that Yomiya is meant to be a tag-in character. You use your elemental burst, you switch off, you let your team do a lot of things, and then you switch back to Yomiya to cast her elemental skill and do a bunch of things. This artifact set completely go against the idea of that, and it just doesn't make sense. You know why?
Está lo que sé de Shimenawa no encaja bien con el gameplay de Yomiya.
Well, Emblem is the Raiden artifact set.
Está preguntando si eso, si era retroceso el meteorito para Yomiya y Shimenawa para Yae. Pero quiero ver cómo justifica lo de Yae.
Going around in circle, at the end, the theories say that Yae Miko was actually meant to be a on-field DPS during development. This is the reason why she have aesthetically very pleasing charge attack. It's the reason why they put so much effort into her normal and charge attack. However, they end up just scrapping that idea and changing her into a off-field DPS characters. And in the process, it just completely broke. You know, if she was an on-field character, then it doesn't matter how much field time she take, because, well, she's meant to use those field time, right? But in the process of changing her to an on-field character,
el problema que os comentaba yo de Yae. Yae tiene el gran problema de que ocupa mucho tiempo para ser un DPS off-field. Pero claro, si Yae fuera un DPS on-field, si fuera un personaje con el que combates con básicos y cargados también, te da igual que te ocupe mucho tiempo porque precisamente se supone que lo que quieres es que te ocupe mucho tiempo. Pero como rol de sub-DPS que te quite tanto tiempo del rol, digamos, de un DPS principal, pues no es bueno en absoluto y es algo que perjudica mucho a Yae.
To an off-field character, they just couldn't eliminate all of these issues, which, well, end up kind of breaking Yae Miko. When I was streaming yesterday, a lot of people told me that in the original beta leak, Yae Miko actually have stat that reassemble her to be a on-field DPS characters. However, it was later changed to be a off-field DPS characters. Now, I never look at leaks. I didn't know about that. So
yo no sé de ese leak, de que tenía algo de ser carry a básicos.
So if you know about the beta leak stuff on Yae Miko, please let people know in the
Ni
comments
amigo.
or something like that. But yeah, so the theory is just that, well, Shimenawa artifact set was originally meant to be designed for Yae Miko, and Yae Miko was originally meant to be a on-field DPS character. In that case, well, losing 15 energy to do normal and charge attack damage is not that big of a deal, especially when you have Raiden in your party. However, somewhere in development, something went wrong, and they end up scrapping the idea, and they just forced it. Keyword here is forced it to be a off-field DPS characters. And you just couldn't force character like that. Their kit was not meant to be like that, and so in the process of that, it completely broke the character, and it's why the character is what they like to call dysfunctional.
O sea,
yes,
vale.
In China, Yae Miko is actually described as dysfunctional. Again, it is very hard for developer to change the design of the kit because these animation costs a lot of work, this design costs a lot of work, maybe the model costs a lot of work. But changing just the number on the other hand, it's a lot easier. And so this is why they went that route, again with some of the other stuff as well, like the Freedom Sword, the armor set and others.
El resumen de la teoría: es mucho más fácil cambiar el número que todo el diseño, es decir, el lore del arma, artefactos, personaje, la ambientación, el personaje con el que encaja, etc. Es mucho más fácil cambiar el numerito de lo que sea y ya está. Hacen las cosas diseñadas para algo, pero no acaba funcionando del todo con ese algo y quizás sí con lo otro. Por ejemplo, la espada, la Freedom Sword, en Kazuha es Dios, pero probablemente, como dice Tenten, estaba diseñado para Jin, perdón. Precisamente, el run de la Freedom Sword no coincidió con el de Kazuha. precisamente. Y eso ya fue un punto que yo os comenté. Probablemente es porque no es la espada de Kazuha, literalmente. Porque con lo que les gusta a ellos ponerlo y mostrarse, la hubieran puesto en la cinemática y pusieron la hoja de filetear. Pues el tema de ese... Que el set de Shimenawa encaja estéticamente en Yae es innegable. Tiene los mismos colores, tiene los mismos tonos, tiene todo igual. La máscara de Kitsune, todo esto. Pero, obviamente, si sale primero el set de artefactos y luego el personaje y cambias el personaje, pero el set de artefactos ya está hecho y no encaja ahora, pues bastante F. ¿Por qué lo han cambiado? Me sorprende. La verdad que me sorprende. ¿Por qué lo han cambiado? No lo sé. Eso ya es una pregunta que, como diría un gran youtuber, son preguntas que jamás tendrán respuesta, ¿está claro? Pero la teoría es esa, es que Yae, en resumen, ¿vale? Lo que os digo de la comunidad china. La comunidad china tiene la teoría de que Yae ha salido como uno de los peores personajes del juego de 5 estrellas porque no han sabido encajarla bien respecto a el contenido que tenían pensado, preparado, digamos, para ella. Lo han cambiado. Se supone que va a ser un personaje de DPS en campo con el set de Shimenawa y con sub-DPS, entre comillas, como Raiden, aportándole mucha energía, tal cual, para compensar la pérdida de eso. Y que su toma de campo, o sea, su tiempo en campo sea menos molesto porque, obviamente, es tu DPS en campo, no hay otro. Entonces, te molestaría un poco menos. Y por eso, pues, sería así. Pero al final, pues, la cosa cambió. Y es la justificación un poco de la comunidad china de por qué no funciona tan bien el personaje. No es que la comunidad china recomiende el set de Shimenawa en Yae Miko. Es que la comunidad china considera a Yae Miko un personaje muy flojo y lo justifican con eso.